Hello everybody and welcome to the first installment of Inside the Doghouse, where we'll take a look at all things John Jay athletics. I'm Jon Perez. On today's episode, we'll look at Korede Griffith and his impact on the defensive side of the ball. Griffith set the school record for most steals in John Jay history and currently leads the nation in that department and is second in CUNYAC history. I got a chance to sit down with Griffith, Coach Ryan Hyland, and Kris Owens to talk about the defensive pest. Ryan, team's been playing well as of late, but you've got two outstanding seniors, Kris and Korede. We'll start with Korede. A lot of people know him for his accolades and his stats and obviously leading the nations in steal this year. But when you look at a quintessential Division III athlete, somebody that goes to class, plays 4 sports, and then also works a lot on his own time, pretty much what does it say for him when you look at him as a coach about that this kid has a lot on his plate?
Yeah, I mean, Korede is an exemplary person, on the court, off the court. Everything he does is top notch. From in the classroom, there's a 3.0 average and above that. And playing 4 sports here at John Jay, he's kind of the ambassador for the sports program.
Now, when you look at Korede, pretty much off the court, he works at a dance studio. He cleans houses pretty much to afford tuition. You can kind of see that on the court, too, with his diligence.
Yeah, I don't know when he sleeps. He leaves practice, he goes to work. He leaves work, he goes to school. Sometimes he comes in, he looks a little tired, and there's never a question why. He was doing something, productive. He wasn't out hanging out. He was, working or doing homework or meeting with teachers or meeting with one of the 2 or 3 clubs he's a part of. And every minute of his day is planned out heading into it, and he knows. This is when I have to do this. This is when I have to be in practice. This is when I have to go to work. And the drive and the determination for a 22, 23-year-old kid to be able to do all those things is pretty amazing. Now, one of the things that he's worked really hard on was his defense, and pretty much averaging about 5 steals a game. He leads the nation. I think he's got 93 at this point, probably more towards playoffs. But nonetheless, what does he do on the defensive end that pretty much troubles other teams' offenses? He's a nuisance, plain and simple. He doesn't play defense the way anybody would teach how to play defense. He plays it almost like a soccer player, and soccer is one of the first sports he learned. And he has great anticipation, and he's really, really great at making you uncomfortable. Soccer players are taught to contain, and then dive in when they think they have an opportunity. And you watch Korede play, and that's similar. That's a similar style he has on the defensive end.
So, obviously his offense has been down this year, but he has kept it up on the defensive end too. But you saw in the York game he had 4 fouls, but in those final 10 seconds, about in the second half, you brought him in pretty much as a defensive specialist, knowing with 4 fouls. What's your trust level in Korede?
Through the roof. Korede and I established our relationship before I was even hired here. He's one of the first people I met back in July when I came to interview. He just comes across as a guy who you have to trust. A guy who's doing all these things in the classroom, off the court. He forces you to believe in him, and it was really easy for me, especially on the defensive end, obviously.
Kris, now you look at Korede, a man that works very hard on the court, off the court. What's it been like to have been his teammate these last years?
It's been great. Freshman year, I remember it like it was yesterday. He was just a defender, like no offense, none of that was required. Sophomore year, he started, began to expand his game. Junior year, me and him really locked in because we knew it was us. We've been there for each other from the beginning. And now it's senior year, so we we always on the same page, and we have that chemistry that any team would wish to ask for.
All right, Korede, so you lead the nation in steals. Sometimes you look at the stats and you see, all right, Korede Griffith's got 5 steals a game, but there are times where when you don't get a steal, it can kind of lead to open looks. But with you pretty much make up when you don't get that steal for that lost ground. Just about your awareness, what is so different about the way you approach a defense as opposed to other players when they try and get those steals?
I would say it's about just not giving up on the play, because you're not gonna always get it, but then you could make that decision to just say I didn't get it, so let me just let them play 4 and 5, or just get back to the furthest man or the next man that's gonna get the next pass, and that way it makes up for that miss.
There were times last year where offensively you would just go off and you were pretty much the man that nobody can stop. This year, maybe a step back on offense, but the defense is still there too. Was there a point this year when you said to yourself, all right, you know what? I might not be tallying it up on the scorer's end, but I'm still going to bring the effort on defense?
I mean, I said it from, that's always been my motto. Like, regardless of what offensively going on, I'm always going to play defense. That's why I'm like, I feel like I'm so valuable to a team, because it's like, even though I'm not scoring, I'm just going to be there on defense.
Now, it's obvious that you do a lot on the basketball court and then volleyball court and cross country and soccer with all the sports that you play. But when you look at a quintessential Division III athlete, they go to class, they balance their athletic life, you also work nights.
Yeah.
So I've got to ask you about that. You know, there's a lot of motivation there, pretty much, and I was reading somewhere that you're actually working your tail end off just to pay for college right now. So can you kind of just talk about that and, you know, the jobs that you do on the side while you balance school, basketball, and then work?
I would say it's just the way life works, I guess, because it's like, it's just something you just have to do. So just like, I find no reason to complain about it, find excuses for it. Just, I realize if I have to do it, I got to do it, so why not just make the best of it while I'm here.
Now, you work, I believe, in a dance studio,
Yeah.
and you also clean houses, too. Yeah. Do you ever just have moments where you say to yourself, gosh, why am I doing this? I should be maybe studying more, or maybe I should be in the gym more, or anything like that? You know, do you ever have those times?
Yeah, a lot during this whole season, because I'm like, why am I doing this? Without looking at our record, it's like, is it really all worth it? But then I just look at it like from looking back the last 4 years, and it's just like, anything can happen at any given moment, so just wait, and something good is going to come out of it.
How has it developed your maturity, and has it made you more headstrong, just to take on any challenges?
I mean, I would say yes, but it's just, I've always been like that since I was younger. It's just like, I never let anything faze me. I just look at the brighter side of everything and just go with that.
Now, you're from Guyana.
Yeah.
And you come to America. You know, what's the difference in lifestyles between Guyana and then coming to New York City? Not just America, because there are different parts of America that have different lifestyles,
Yeah.
but you come to New York City.
I mean, it was fast. I mean, I came from living so slow and every day, 24 hours really is 24 hours, and I come here and it's just like, before you know it, 6 o'clock turns into 9 o'clock and your whole day is gone. So just adjusting to that fast lifestyle was my only issue.
Now, I read somewhere that you said that your father would stop you in the streets if you didn't say hello to somebody. And then over here, if nobody speaks to you.
No, not at all. I'm on a bus, greeting bus drivers, and they're just looking at me like, okay, do you want to ride or not? I'm like, nah, I'm just saying hello.
Now, what were I believe it was cricket and soccer were your favorite sports growing up. How have, maybe soccer more than cricket, because obviously you don't have a bat on the basketball court, but how have they helped your basketball game?
I would say my speed and my stamina, because I ran cross country in Africa and played soccer there, and it was just like non-stop running, and it was in the heat, and it just built up my stamina to when I came here. People ask me why I always run. That's why.
That'll wrap things up for this edition of Inside the Doghouse. If you like this episode and want to see more, you can check us out on johnjathletics.com and follow on Twitter and Instagram at JJAY Athletics. For the entire staff of Inside the Doghouse, I'm Jon Perez, signing off.